All right, have and have not fans, Chandler and I are back with another top 5 list for you all. In the first video, we talked about 5 characters we want to show up in the back half of season 6. This time around, we're going to be talking about the top 5 characters who we think will die during the back half of the season. Keep in mind, the trailer for the back half of the season said it's not about who will die, it's about how many. So the interesting part about this video is that we might be right in some of our theories in our top 5 list. 1, 2, 3, or all 5 characters might be killed off this season. So with Chandler being the guest on the channel, we'll start off with his number 5. I'll start with my number 5, and we'll go back and forth until we get to number 1. So in the comments below, let us know your top 5 characters who you think will die or want to die in the back half of the season. So Chandler, start us off with your number 5.
All right, have and have not fans. Now my number 5 is Erica.
No comment. Okay. All right. And let's see here. Why is Erica your number 5?
Erica's my number 5 mainly because of Veronica. Veronica is mad. She's not having it. She's not gonna take too kindly to David and Erica's little fling going on here. So it's probably gonna be either her that kills her or Candace. I'm leaning more toward it's either gonna be one of those two. Or it could be if David finds out that Erica is trying to get his money, it could be him. It could be him, but I don't think so. I think it's either going to be Veronica or Candace.
And that's another interesting thing about this video when we talk about the theories. I feel like in some cases, when we list off characters, there are multiple ways these characters could die because they have multiple enemies squared up against them. Because, you know, when you look at Justin, Benny, Jeffrey, and Erica, these characters might be slated to be knocked off the show, but it really isn't a question of will they die? It's more of a like, how will they die? Will they be killed off by one of their many enemies? Will they be killed off by like a no-name character? There are just so many questions to ask on that. But ironically enough, my number 5 is actually a tie between 2 characters. I actually have Landon and George the DA because I feel like it was hard for me to choose which one of these should be in my top 5. Here's why. Landon returning to the show, I was not against that. I feel like it's very interesting that he is the new quote-unquote Maggie Day because he's helping a political candidate try to reach their goal, which is actually pretty good because it speaks to Maggie Day's character about how damn good she was at her job, that her protege or right-hand man is now trying to help a presidential candidate take the White House. But the thing about Landon that really messed me up is the fact that he's replaying Maggie Day's role by being attracted to the candidate that he's trying to help win office. But the problem with that is Charles isn't gay, so it seems like we're re-seeing Maggie Day from season 2, and we're seeing Jeffrey from season 1 pining after a straight man. And the worst part is, we know that Charles is into a woman, and Landon knows that Charles is straight, but he's literally pushing up on him. So I don't know if that's going to end too well. And George, on the other hand, I'm wary about George because at first I thought it was pretty interesting that we have a DA who's out on like a witch hunt, so to speak, to take down the criers. But when we learn that he's not playing with a straight deck, pretty much trying to tamper with evidence, badger witnesses to say what he wants them to say, pretty much kind of widen the gap between the Crier family just to get revenge for Jennifer, something tells me he's going to mess around with the wrong person, especially when he brought up the death of Amanda, which we know is like a trigger button for the likes of Catherine and Jim. So I feel like between Landon and George, they're both playing with dangerous territory. So that's why I feel like one of those two, if not both, might die at the end of the season.
Well, I like that. I like you got a tie between 2 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now my number 4 is my least favorite because I don't want this to happen, but it might. Melissa.
Freak. You know what? She's my number 4 too. She's my number
Really?
4. She is my number 4. I felt like I was going to save it, but the fact that it's the same character, we can just both go back and forth as to why we feel she might be on the chopping block. So let me just say up front, I agree, because I feel like Melissa died in that car wreck and we got the birth of someone completely different. So it would be very, yeah, I feel like it would be very sad if this brand new Melissa gets killed off so soon, just when I was starting to enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's fun to look at her now, but aside from that, I just love the fact that Antoinette has breathed new life into this this character to make her fun to watch. She's not just like somebody who's being victimized. She's somebody who's kind of fighting back in her own way. But
she's standing up for herself and she's going after what she wants and she's getting it.
Exactly. So I don't know if it's going to be because Veronica takes her to the doctor, finds out she's not pregnant. I don't know if it's because Veronica walks in on her and Benny having sex in the living room. There are just so many ways it can go down, but I would be very sad to see her go.
Okay.
Oh, heck, we don't even know if she's going to be institutionalized either. I mean, that was one thing. I wonder if that's going to be written into the story.
Yeah, and I want to know about what Veronica meant when she says, dumb girl doesn't even know when it's being set up.
Exactly. There's just so many ways that can go down, but God, I would hate to see her go. But I do know that, if I'm not mistaken, she posted on Instagram that the date for Dear White People season 2 was released, but I didn't get a chance to look up what day that's coming out on. So even if she does die, at least we know we will be able to see her on Netflix. All right, so that's 5, 4. Okay, and now for your number 3, which I know for a fact is different from mine.
My number 3 is Justin.
I don't even think we need to explain this, because I feel like we both know, and the fan base know, he is one of the least favorite characters on the show. So go ahead and speak your piece, but I feel like I already know what you're going to say, because I feel like we've already talked about this off the mic.
Yeah, David. I'm going to go with. I think David and Jim might team up to take him down, or maybe even Jeffrey might get pushed to the limit, or even I'm willing to even go out on a limb now and say David and Veronica could team up to take him down.
Yeah, I would love to see that. It's like 2 former spouses / current enemies coming together. Seeing them take down Justin would just be as satisfying as seeing Catherine and Jim confronting Professor Cannon.
Like, all right, you know what? We've had our differences. We've had our fights. We've had our arguments. But we both have one thing in common. We love our sons. So let's take down this fool together.
That's the thing.
Put our differences aside and take him down together.
I was about to kind of add on to what you just said, that even though they're at each other's throats, they both love their son at the core, except they love their son, but they'll have different reasons for taking down Justin. David would want to do it to protect Jeffrey, while Veronica would want to do it to get rid of one more obstacle that's in Jeffrey's way of him living the life that she wants him to live. So I think that would be beautiful if they wrote that into the show. Yeah, we'll do a separate video on that. I feel like we should do a separate video on not just that, but maybe kind of a twist where we list out characters who we think will die, but then talk about like how they'll die, like who will orchestrate their demise. That would be a good video. That's like number 3 in terms of video ideas we can do in the future.
Yeah, I like that idea.
How characters will die. Wow, okay. So my number 3 was actually, I believe, your number 5, Erica. I feel like we already talked about how her demise will most likely be either via Candace or Veronica. I feel like it might be interesting if, again, I'm just kind of spitballing here. I think it will be interesting if one of those two women tries to kill, like, let's say if Veronica tries to kill Erica, but she somehow escapes and goes back to Candace and tries to find refuge. It's like, look, his wife came and tried to destroy everything and tried to kill me. It was crazy. I got out of there. But then she's either protected by the woman she runs to, being Candace, because I feel like the scenario would make more sense if Veronica is trying to kill her, but then she escapes and goes back to Candace. But then it turns out that Candace knew all along that Veronica was in on the plan, because remember, Erica doesn't know that Veronica has her hand in the David jar, if you will, because this deal was only made between Candace and Veronica. It's like when Veronica told Candace all this information about how David is like paranoid, like he'll know if something's out of place. He uses a green light, all that good stuff. When Candace relayed that information to Erica, Veronica's name did not come up. So that just lets me know that Erica is still at the bottom of this food chain of the plan. So she's unknowingly in danger. Like, I still say that with Veronica getting that address, and Candace even said it, you're going to do something crazy. You're not stable right now. You're going to ruin this plan. I feel like if Veronica goes after David and Erica slips away, I could either see one or two things happening. One, Candace kind of regroups with Erica. It's like, look, we can play this up to our advantage. You can get even closer to David now that his wife is off the deep end, meaning that he'll be more inclined to trust you due to his last woman trying to kill the two of you. Or she might say, because Veronica ruined this entire plan, I have no more use for you. You're dead. So I feel like Erica definitely has some interesting storylines to still play out. Yes, I do think that David would be furious if he found out the truth about Erica. How he finds out is yet to be seen, but if Erica dies, I want her and Jim to meet on screen at least once. I want to see that at least once.
Me too.
Yep. So
it will, because we've been seconds away from. We were 1 second away from seeing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I really want to see if they interacted before, if they knew each other. It's kind of like if Oscar and Erica saw each other. Oscar would know that she doesn't play with a straight deck due to the fact that they met before at that hotel, that restaurant. So yeah, fans, when it comes to these lists on top 5, the way we tried to order this list was not just the top 5 characters we want to see dead, but from number 5 to number 1, we tried to list it out so each character was ranked in terms of how much they kind of either brought to the story, or characters who you want to see die because we just fed up with them. So with that being said, let's get to our top 2. So who is your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is actually one of your number 5s.
George, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, number 2. Shoot. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with that one.
Okay. I think that George, I wouldn't be surprised if George gets the same thing Jennifer got, a little dose of Catherine Cryer's bullet.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Because Catherine is going to be so angry. You know, if she finds out that he is trying to not turn her son against her, but trying to probe her son for information, that's going to make her mad too.
Yep. I mean, because Jennifer did the same thing.
She's already perturbed that he came at her with Amanda's death.
Oh, she was pissed.
If she finds out about Wyatt, that's going to be it.
I mean, we talked about Justin before, but, you know, just to go even further, I'd say that if Catherine found out about this cop harassing her son, he'll disappear just like the priest did.
Exactly.
Yep. And wow. I mean, that's why I love, because I think so far in our list, we've talked about a lot of either secondary characters or, you know, I'd say even C-list characters. But the thing is, they all have, for the most part, important roles to the show. So my number 2 is actually a main character. And this is the one I was telling you before we started recording. It might flip some people the wrong way, but I think Veronica might die at the I feel like, as I said in that video, comparing the Melinda plot from the movie Acrimony to Veronica Harrington, and I don't want to spoil it, but let me just say that women who are scorned usually go through self-destructive tendencies. So the question is, it's not about who will kill Veronica. It's more so about, is her behavior going to lead to her own undoing? Like, going back to that ABC Soaps article, which I still need to do a video on about how misleading it was, Veronica did mention that, if Melissa lost a baby, then that might make Veronica kind of suicidal. So my thing is, I feel like there are a lot of triggers to Veronica, like, her walking in on her quote unquote man, Benny, messing around with Melissa, her former husband, well, soon to be ex. The divorce isn't finalized, but it's getting to that phase. Him living in her dream house with this whore. Then, her son still being homosexual. I feel like if there's any care, we've seen Wyatt and his self-destructive ways, but to be honest, I feel like at any moment Veronica could snap. Like, I feel like her trying to kill, one of these characters will actually lead to her own demise. So yeah, Veronica is actually someone that I would not be surprised if she died. Like, yeah, I know she's protected by plot armor because she's a main character, but it wouldn't surprise me if she died at some point.
Just because you're a main character, that doesn't mean you can't die. I've seen it happen many, many, many times on many, many, many shows.
But how many shows like the Haves and the Have-Nots? I feel like when I think of main characters, I don't just think about characters who show up in the title, in the opening credits, because now we have the likes of Brett Davis and Erica. We have those characters appearing in the opening credits now, like their names at the beginning of the show. But when I think of main characters, I think of characters who show up in like the opening, like we see their faces. Amanda is the only character we've seen die from the opening credits. Celine was taken off of the roster, but that's not because she died. It's just because her character literally got thrown into the background. But
it happened on Empire.
That's true. That's true. So I feel like this could happen on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but I feel like the Acrimony movie kind of hinted at what might happen with Veronica. Maybe not this season, maybe next season, but I'm just saying it will be interesting. So that's why Veronica is my number 2. So to round things.
Another thing, before we do that, another thing about Veronica.
Yeah.
It might be that Veronica takes her own self down.
Yeah, I mean...
Meaning, okay, let's say that she goes to the doctor and it turns out that Melissa is not pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And this grandchild that she wants is not. It's never has been, never will be. That might make her suicidal right there.
I mean, if that actually happens, my hat's off to Angela Robinson, because of that interview. She gave us little Easter eggs that took a while to hatch. But as I said before, in a way I'm mad at her, but then in a way I'm not, because after the fact that a lot of the cast members had to get on social media to talk about how this mid-season finale wasn't quite the one that they recorded, that let me know that, people above them made some changes. So the article that Angela Robinson, took part in might have been accurate at the time, but then they had to do a lot of cuts and edits and all this stuff that might have messed up the order of some certain events. So that's why I'm kind of looking at the upcoming episodes with a side eye, just because I want to know, are they going to mislead us again? Like when they do next Tuesday on the Haves and the Have-Nots, are they going to show us what's going to happen next Tuesday instead of throwing in some very hot and steamy scenes that won't happen for another 3 episodes? So I feel like
they never used to do that.
Exactly. That's why I'm kind of pissed off at this season. That's why I didn't do a lot of next episode preview breakdowns like I planned on doing, because after 2 or 3 episodes, I'm like, whoa. they showed us this hot scene of like Catherine walking in on Jim and some girl, but then that didn't even happen for like another 4 episodes. So I'm gonna wait until like
that didn't even happen. They showed that scene the first week, and that didn't happen until the week before the mid-season finale.
I know. So I think maybe after the first couple episodes after May 1st, if the previews are accurate, then I'll definitely be doing those videos. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's definitely Veronica, my number 2. So we're going to round it out with number 1.
All right, my number 1, and might be a doozy too. My number 1 is actually the main character. My number 1 is
Benny
Young.
Oh wow, I agree because like Erica, I feel and Justin, there are a lot of people I can see pulling the trigger because I feel like one of two things. They're either putting Benny through like a bunch of horse crap so he gets like a redemption arc to somebody to get his mind straight, or Tyler Perry purposely wrote it to get Benny in so much trouble with so many people that there's no other way to come to a solution but to kill him off. So yeah, let me know why he's your number 1.
One word to say is Malone.
Yep. I mean,
I think that the second he made that deal with Mitch's uncle Vinny,
yep.
he was screwed. He was just that was it. He signed his death warrant. He signed his death certificate.
And the weird part is there were so many opportunities. That's why I don't feel bad if he does get killed off or get in trouble, because Mitch warned him time and time again about the dangers of this deal. Then even said, Veronica, she can help you out. I feel like at some point it's going to hit the fan, and then Benny's going to ask Veronica for the money. But after catching Melissa and Benny in the act of having sex, she's going to want nothing to do with him. So it's going to be Benny not having any other options. And then, he talks to his mom and she's going to be like, I told you. And it's kind of like, when he talked about, you were right, mommy, Candace did steal the money and whatnot, and now I done lost the house. We're going to lose the house and the tow yard. And then when she went in the kitchen, I'm like, oh my God, no. When black mamas start singing that, you messed up. When they don't even want to talk down to you, they just sing and walk away. You done messed up.
Exactly.
Oh man.
That's you've done it then.
Yep. All right, for my number 1, I think this was actually your number 3. Justin.
Oh yeah, that was my number 3.
Justin, and this is more of a I want him to die instead of a should, because
I want him to die too.
I've just kind of grown tired. I feel like we had Justin cram down our throats the first 10 episodes, and I'm just done with him. I'm just ready for him to go. I mean, the whole Jeffrey Justin jail, that I feel like if you took all of those scenes and put them together, that would probably equate to like 1.5 episodes, because we got so much of that.
Maybe even 2.
Yeah, now that I think about it, some of those scenes were like 10 to 15 minutes, and some of the episodes range from like 39 to 42 minutes if you get rid of commercials. It's just, I'm tired. Why are you here? Like, I mean, it's like he's the new Landon. God.
It's like he's, I like how a lot of these characters will shift. Like they'll be like another character. Like
yeah,
Landon is the new Maggie Day. Justin is the new Landon. It's like
it's kind of like, in a way, Broderick is like the male Candace to Catherine. And then Benny is like the Erica to Veronica, and the list goes on. It's just crazy.
And Warlock became the new Quincy.
Yeah, good point. Warlock, the new Quincy, and oh wow, it's just crazy to think. But yeah, I don't even want to go even further with Justin, because I feel like number 1, we talked about him when he was your number 3, and I've done so many videos on Justin. It's like I've gotten to the point where I'm just done with his character completely. So
I remember back when the season first started, I remember you said you were Veronica'd out. You said you weren't doing any more videos on Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
But you kept doing them. But
hey, views, man, views. But then also because every time something would drop, it's like, oh snap, they updated the profile picture on the Facebook and the cover photo, and there's no Veronica, so I had to jump on that. But it's kind of like I go in phase, like back during the whole the season where we knew Quincy Jr. was going to die. I got sick of Candace videos. Then I got sick of Veronica's videos after the whole car wreck. Then I got sick of doing Derek videos about the lion tattoo. Now I'm all Justin out. Man. But yeah, folks, that kind of wraps it up. That was our top 5 characters who we think might die at the end of the season. And keep in mind, the trailer said, as I said in the beginning, it's not about who will die, it's how many.
How many will die.
Yep. And then the fact that both of our lists, for the most part, kind of were made up of secondary. I don't want to call them main characters, but let me just say that they're, let me just call them like B+ characters. Not quite A characters, but like B+ characters. Because remember, in the one finale where we had Toxic, Terrell, Professor Cannon, you know, all killed at once. That just lets you know that it's not impossible for another bloodbath to go down. That's not even counting the massacre we saw in the Malone restaurant where Warlock and his crew got massacred along with a couple of Malones. But yeah, with that being said, you know, let me know in the comment section below, what characters do you feel are on the chopping block for the end of the season?
Did any Malones get killed in that?
I know a couple of them got shot. I don't know if they died, but I know a couple of them got shot.
I feel like if they died, Mama Rose would have come back and there would have been a bloodbath in Savannah.
True, but given the fact that the people who were responsible for shooting at Mitch and the ones who were responsible for shooting Malone's in the restaurant were already dead, then that kind of cancels out the reason why she would want to let the town know why the Malone shouldn't be trifled with. But that's just my own headcanon with that. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's my thoughts on that. I need to rewatch that scene. Yeah, I'll rewatch that scene. And I did see a couple of Malones get shot because I remember doing a video on it, and some people were like, well, Jeremy, it wasn't a complete massacre because there were 1 or 2 Malones that got shot. I know there was one Malone that got shot and I seen him fall on the table, but I didn't see him get back up again. I remember that. But wow, this was good. So this was our second listing video, and we definitely have more on the way. So as always, please subscribe. Let us know what characters you think will die. And hey, we're less than a month away from the I don't even want to call it season premiere, but let's just say we're less than a month away from the season picking up where we left off. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon.